I wanted it to be like a very focused and intentional thing. So that's why like I was really focused on kind of having three main kind of units, where it was drums being one because it's such a dynamic instrument and like visually so stimulating, and then the harp is probably one of the most kind of captivating instruments ever made, in my opinion. And then the array of sounds that can be achieved from it. So by just pairing those two instruments together, it was already make for like a really strong foundation to build a band on. And then the idea then was to kind of place ambience and piano in between those two and see how it takes shape.
I think that was what was interesting for all of us actually, because like I'm a huge fan of Ross's solo project, and I hadn't actually seen Gareth do ambient music, but like you were the main ambient person I was aware of in Ireland, and I kept showing up to gigs
I
being
just
like,
want to say I don't find like I'm very serious about ambient music, obviously, like, but just performing it live was a very difficult thing for me. Just want to put an asterisk in
putting it.
that, like.
Um, but I guess like I showed up to a couple of gigs to do improvised sets as a solo musician, and I kept thinking like, yeah, I'm gonna do ambient music. Yep, and then it would turn into something completely else. It would carry a lot more weight and dynamic energy, and I could be like, where the hell did that come from? But I couldn't quite like get in at the ambient level, and I was kind of like looking at what Gareth was doing, and I was like, God, I'd love to be more chill, have a bit of control. And I think, in terms of what Ross was doing in terms of instrumental processing, I was really excited by that as well. So the idea of being in a kind of more structured group where we'd actually take the time to work on things and do improvisation together, which was where the material for the album came from. It was like a mixture of like kind of arranged material with improvised sections where we were exploring the textures of the different instruments, and actually just like having the synthesizers in the room with the harp, just seeing, because the instrument that we're playing in the group, it isn't the pedal harp that I usually play. It is an incredibly unique instrument that is foundationally difficult, we will accept,
Yes.
to gig with,
Hmm.
because it's actually a replica of an instrument from the 1700s, which I got into through a whole very, very long sequence of events of kind of going in the spiral inwards of, coming from the outside of classical harp and classical training.